Welcome to DentonRadio.com, powered in part by Classic of Denton.
It's like the opposite of wake. It like puts you to sleep. This is like a every person needs a breakup song. I'm afraid to fall asleep at night, knowing I'm all alone. I can't find it in myself to close my eyes and fear you and my dreams will collide. So I lay awake for hours at a time, trying to forget you from my mind. But it takes some time to get through this life when everything you had is gone. Every heartbeat sings me softly to sleep, lullaby that keeps me alive. 'Cause sometimes it feels like I can't breathe, 'cause all the pain inside of me burns deep, and it doesn't let me sleep. These months have left me so weak, hoping one day I can breathe. 'Cause I've been trying to catch my breath, but one look at you and my heart resets. Can't you see what you're doing to me? You've got me under your spell, but I'm so tired of waiting for what's already gone. But every heartbeat sings me softly to sleep, lullaby that keeps me alive. 'Cause sometimes it feels like I can't breathe, 'cause all the pain inside of me burns deep, and it doesn't let me sleep. It doesn't let me sleep. Thank you.
Time has come, I've been here way too long. The bartenders all know my face and they've all heard my song. I feel I'm far behind. There's so much road to find, so much breeze to feel, all this ego to refine. And I think of what I'll miss, but absence allows us to reminisce. And you can bet that I'll be back someday. I float from coast to coast to people and trees and the Holy Ghost. I won't speak till I know what to say, and I'm on my way. Our love is not a waste. You don't regret a single word, a sad sound or taste. Now think of what I'll miss when absence allows us to reminisce. And you can bet that I'll be back someday. I'll flow from coast to coast to people and trees and the Holy Ghost. I'll leave whenever I'll return to flame. And I'm on my way.
All right, everybody, we are live in studio with the stars themselves. You just got a little taste of it. Now get the opportunity to meet them. We are talking about the second, how do you pronounce this?
Bradetich.
Bradetich Foundation International Double Bass Solo Competition. Going to be happening over at the one and only UNT in the very much one and only Murchison Performing Arts Center starting September 1st and then crescendoing September 5th. So before we go into the competition, let's everybody go around the table and introduce yourselves and your affiliation and how you ended up here today. And we'll start with you.
Sure. I'm Jeff Bradetich, and we started the foundation almost 10 years ago now, and this is our second competition, drawing the very best double bass players from around the world. I think we have about 14 countries represented in the competition here.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. And you guys?
My name is Murchison Meyer, and I am very lucky to be a DMA student here at UNT. I also did my master's here, and yeah.
Where are you from?
South Africa.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I'm a native Texan. My name is Aaron Olguin. This is now my fifth year, maybe? Going on to my 6th year of school at the University of North Texas.
Wow.
Just started my 2nd year of master's.
Incredible. Absolutely amazing. So for those sitting at home like me, I call the non-musical muggles. There's musicians and then there's muggles like me. And what you guys can do just mystifies the rest of us. What drew you to the double bass in the first place?
Do you want to go first?
Well, honestly, I wanted to start with cello at first.
Okay.
But double bass in South Africa is still, I mean, today it's a little bit more, but back then it was quite, there's not a lot of bass players and not a lot of kids is interested in playing it. And so at first I wanted to do cello, but they kept on pushing me, you should play bass, play bass. And I eventually,
cello, you got a bass.
Yes, now today I'm very thankful that they pushed me to do it.
Good.
And yeah.
Very, very cool. And yourself?
For me, it was a rather interesting story. I started in middle school at the double bass, but before I was even assigned to double bass, they assigned me to clarinet. And I immediately called my parents. I was like, I don't want to play clarinet. I don't even want to play that thing, you know? And so they were like, okay, well, have you played any other instruments? And I said, yes, I grew up playing guitar. I took a lot of private lessons whenever I was younger. So I thought I'd try to do something related to strings. So like, okay, we're going to call the orchestra director. I said, what's orchestra? And then she came in and she's like, okay, first thing, let me see your hands. So she put up her hands, her hands are down here and I was a big kid. She's like, okay, you're going to play the double bass. I was like, what's a double bass? And then she showed me that thing. The first thing I thought was like, oh my God, my parents are going to kill me. They're going to have to carry this thing everywhere. But immediately I just found it very fascinating, the overtones I was getting out of it. And especially in high school, I started giving it a little bit more attention. And I realized that it was my voice this whole time. It was able to pronounce what I've been trying to say as a musician my whole life. So I've been pushing my own musicality through this instrument.
I love the phrase. It was the voice you were looking for, what you were trying to say this whole time. Kind of like Happy Feet.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, very, very cool, guys. It's very impressive what you're able to do. I'm really looking forward to the competition myself. Best of luck to the both of you.
Thank you.
And to speak to you a little bit, how did this whole thing come about?
Well, it stems from, I've been in the profession for almost 40 years, I guess now, and teaching, performing as a soloist, which, as most people don't think of the double bass as a solo instrument. But it really comes from the need now in the profession for the very best young artists in the world to be heard. They're playing music, as you heard earlier in the show, that is equal to anybody on a violin or a cello, piano, voice. They have their own musical statement to make, and the bass is it's a kind of an unexplored instrument. So both internally, we're finding the best players, and then we're trying to share that with the broader audience. And I think people are finding out that the bass is pretty cool.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I feel like it's penetrating all these different. You know, we were just at the North Texas Fair and Rodeo, and so we had some pretty big country artists, everything from pop country to traditional country. All of them are using stand-up basses. We've got a lot of folk and bluegrass and things like that around town, and so you're seeing a lot of that kind of stuff happening as well. A lot of cool stuff. Like there's a group around town called Plato's Theory. We do a ton of work with them. Young sisters that are really getting out there, and they've got a cello, not a stand-up, but all these string instruments are penetrating. And becoming almost and I hope this is a positive thing to say, it's almost becoming a pop instrument. It's incredible that everybody is you're starting to see these string instruments and these more I don't know, I just feel like you wouldn't see a stand-up bass on a top 40 album just a few years ago, and now you're seeing it all over the place, which is so cool.
We feel that we're sort of leading that, we call it crossover, where we're crossing over from, first of all, it was classical and jazz, we're mixing. Which we do very well, of course, here at UNT. But in the double bass now, you've got the bluegrass and the pop, and everything is searching for a new music. And obviously the bass is being explored in a way that it's providing some of that. And leadership, you see now violins and cellos and violas starting to play more this way too, but bass has really led the charge.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Yeah. Well, and I feel like you're seeing more younger students and just younger people getting interested in classical music and classical instruments and things like this, because this is that's kind of the lightning rod that draws them in, as they see it on something that you wouldn't normally see it on, 10, 15, even 5 years ago, and then it's drawing them in toward classical music and things like that, which is really, really cool. It's super exciting.
I think one thing, if you don't mind,
please.
It's extremely interesting that you're talking about this crossover genre, because, for example, whenever you hear, if you've ever even heard of this genre, like the bass quartet, for example, it's becoming a little bit more of a known genre. Yeah. Before, whenever you brought up the conversation, it was just, show tunes, bossa nova, this like jazz style, jazz music, playful music, and now it's changing to be a little bit more of into the serious chamber music genre. For example, my bass quartet, the Bossa Nova Quartet, is now playing traditional string repertoire in an unconventional way. Cool. And what this does is it provides a new medium. And what this says is, to the composers, write for us, because this instrument can do this that it wasn't able to do, so many years before. So this is kind of what you're talking about. Yeah. It's now being a part of different music genres.
So cool. So cool. So for you guys personally, what are some of your influences that when you go home at the end of the day, when you're not doing this, what are you listening to?
For me, I really enjoy classical music a lot. Cool. And I think there's never enough to explore. There's always enough to explore, and I think you're never going to have enough time to explore it. Yeah. So I always just give it my all to explore a bunch of music, and I explore a lot of double bass repertoire, but I really enjoy, for example, violin soloists and cello soloists and piano soloists, to give you a sense of how the bass needs to be compared to. I don't want to compare the double bass, in that sense, but if you were to be on the concert stage, exactly, you have to hear the standards of the other instruments. So I like to study what they do and know their mannerisms and their gestures and their phrasings, and then I apply that to my instrument to then help the double bass reach a new level, I think.
Super cool. And you?
Well, quite a mixture. I would listen to anything from heavy metal to jazz. But for just relaxation, I would listen to maybe a lot of piano repertoire, actually. Okay. But of course, bass music too. Yeah. But so piano and soundtrack music.
Okay.
I listen to a lot.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So just right now, what's in your CD player? Well, okay. What's in your phone?
You're aging
I know.
You're not that old.
Well, probably the Andres Martin double bass concerto.
Okay.
Because I listened to it yesterday. So.
For me, the first thing that would probably come up is Beethoven's Triple Concerto.
Awesome.
Just really love the piece, and
very cool.
Very unique, I think.
I love it. Well, we had a guy on here the other day, and he is in the kind of DJ scene, and he makes beats and does all this kind of stuff. But he's not singing. He's not this. He's not that. He's just taking fun little sound samples and trying to string them together. And he said all of his life he felt kind of almost outcast from a lot of his peer group growing up, and then all of a sudden he saw somebody doing DJ music and he went, somebody like me, and and it became this kind of culture that you're seeing of all these DJs that are popping up and coming together. Do you feel like there's this culture here in Denton of people that are getting to unite through their musical interests?
Sure.
I would say so. I think in general Denton itself has always had that culture. I think this conversation might relate more to those cities and that don't have the double bass for them. Like for example, like Bradetich has a festival in Seattle that reaches out to the Seattle area. I mean, wouldn't say it's thriving like Denton, but what it does is it gives those bass players an opportunity to have what we have here, a great school and a great teacher and great music programs. And that's kind of what our goal, maybe your goal is with this competition, is to reach out to the general audience and just to show, you have an opportunity to do this. If you want to share your music through the double bass, then here's some ways that you can do it.
Very cool.
I also think the other important thing is the internationality of Denton and UNT. It brings such a variety of voices together, and I think everybody constantly learn from each other, and the environment is as such too, that it just kind of happens naturally, which is kind of cool. So.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. They say that if you play in Denton, just being in Denton is going to make you a better player because you're around so many great artists and such a great community of creative people that it shows you new things and challenges you and inspires you, and very, very cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the competition itself and what people should expect if they go and check it out.
Well, the 1st through the 3rd, this coming Friday through Sunday, we're going about 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock each day, first and second round. It's actually inside the College of Music, the Vortman Concert Hall. And then the finals will be Tuesday night next week on the 5th, 7:30 in the Murchison with a fabulous orchestra, and the finalists will be playing concertos. Then we'll have an audience favorite vote. We're going to be streaming live on Facebook, and we're going to ask them to vote online as well, and we have prizes for each of those. And the first prize for the competition values upwards of $30,000. So it's not a small deal. We're really trying to put us on the map. It's cash. It's a New York debut in Carnegie Hall, and CD recording and other performances in different places, and trying to really sponsor this person that wins, and of course our instrument to champion what we're doing, and we're doing it collectively. Yeah. But people can come. It's free and open. We ask for donations at the door, but there's no tickets. Just come and listen to some, and if you come to listen to some, you will come back to listen to more.
Love it. And that was said very confidently. I like that. Very good. Awesome. All right. So what is, if you could pitch the double bass very romantically to somebody, if you had 10 seconds to sell them as to why they should play a stand-up bass, what would you say?
Sound.
Awesome.
I would also say that too, and I think the big thing is colors. The colors that you can get out of this instrument is unimaginable. I mean, cello has colors, and violin and piano, but the variety of overtones and the colors that you can get in the instrument are just unimaginable. And the pieces that are made for this music, and even some transcriptions that we play, can really exonerate that and just really push the instrument to a new level, especially if you explore those colors.
I'm going to chime in. Dark rich chocolate.
Dark rich chocolate. Love it. Love it. That might be the most romantically I've ever heard of an instrument described. That was pretty nice. So we talked about streaming live on Facebook. Where should where should they go to see it?
They can go to facebook.com/Bradetich Foundation.
Bradetich Foundation.
And perfect. We'll be sharing it, of course. But
well, and on that note, we are also streaming live on Facebook ourselves. If you're listening on the radio or YouTube or any of those places, make sure you pop on over to Facebook before we wrap up here so that you can get to check this out yourself. And on that note, if you would like to ask a question of our amazing panel of folks today, that is an option. It's too much gadgetry going on in here. Anyway, so that is an option that you have today to get to speak with these guys. Veronica Maldonado says, bravo, bravo, enjoying this during my lunch break. So, hey, we've already got a fan.
Awesome.
That's good. She's a communications director here at the CVB, so she works here, but that still counts. Anyways, lots of other people watching that we
Actually,
see.
She's right back there.
Yeah, she's right there. But if you guys do want to ask a question of these guys, now is your opportunity. It's your chance now. You got to do it on Facebook quickly. Okay, so what? So give us a little bit more of the background on this competition. What were the origins?
I've been organizing events for the double bass really since I've been in the profession, and I organized the first actual international convention for double bass players in 1984, and I started the competitions for our international organization in 1988, and then so it's grown really from that, and we have a very fine international organization, but I wanted to reach out beyond that. So I've been here for quite a while now at UNT, 23 years, but
wow.
It's an ideal location to have it because we have a very big bass program, and as you've heard already today, and we'll hear again in a few minutes, these two are both students here at UNT. We have a former student from UNT who's in the competition, so we're very well represented, and we just like to make it a hub for bass.
Well, so 23 years at UNT, which, by the way, bravo to that. That's impressive. If you, I'm hoping that we've got some people listening today that maybe are thinking about UNT, haven't checked out the university before, maybe are interested. If you got the opportunity to talk to them as 23 years at UNT, what would you say?
Well, within music, we really are the most comprehensive music school in the country, and one of the most comprehensive in the world. We have some of our programs are on the top with other perhaps more well-known music schools like Juilliard and so forth. Mm-hmm. But because of our size, because we're the largest school in America, we have more offerings than most anybody else. Just we have more faculty, we have more students, there's more collaboration, et cetera, et cetera. But outside of music, let's look at the student who is not sure what they want to do. Mm-hmm. Music is a great field to go into, even if they're not sure if they want to go into math or maybe they want to go into economics or whatever. But music demands of the student and of the brain really a high level of functioning and thinking, processing, working together, communicating, all these skills that are absolutely necessary in any field, especially of high achievement in the world. And you find that music students who get a music degree and they say, it's so competitive and it's not for me, they're immediately accepted at top schools around the country in psychology and physics and all sorts of other things. So it's not like you're pigeonholing yourself and your life's going to be ruined if you don't make it as a musician. In fact, your life will be better because of it, because of how it challenges you, and also that whole life experience of art and music.
Wow. Very, very cool. Well, we're getting to talk, like I said, romantically about a lot of things in the music realm today, so I love it. Well, we're going to take a quick break soon, and we're going to play a little bit more music, and then we'll come back to you guys playing a little bit more music. For those that didn't get to get a little taste at the beginning, you are going to get to see these amazing performers yet again. Again, we're going to take a little break with some of our local artists, and well, you guys are local artists as well. Some of our not bass artists, and and then we'll come back to you guys. Before we do that, any other words you guys want to add to this thing about the competition, about yourselves, about?
I would just highly encourage that everybody come out if they can to the final concert, if anything, on September 5th. It's going to be great. I was an audience member whenever the first Bradetich competition happened, and it was just unreal experience to see 4 of the best double bassists that were within the age confines performing with a live orchestra, and the orchestra is fantastic as well. And I really encourage it. And if you don't have any solidified views of the double bass, I'm sure this will solidify great views.
Very cool. And for you?
Yeah, ditto. I couldn't say. I've said it better. No, I mean, I think it's one of the best opportunities to see bass in the world.
Yeah.
And it's right here. So it's a great opportunity.
And if I can just say one thing, when we come back, and you're going to hear 2 wonderful, totally different pieces. One is going to represent this crossover style that we talked about, that Murchison's going to play, utilizing jazz, American folk, and other elements to really show off a new side of repertoire. And then Aaron's going to finish us up with a virtuoso showpiece by one of our great bassists from 100 years ago.
Very, very cool.
Yes.
Now, one last thing I want to cover before we go on to the break is I asked you before we got started, is this the 2nd annual? And you said no, the last one was how many years ago? 5 years ago?
Too long ago.
I mean, quite a while ago, right?
But
I mean that in a good sense, in that somebody that's thinking, okay, I want to go see this thing, but maybe I can't make it this time around. I'll catch it on the next one. We don't know when that's going to be. You got to jump on this thing, and you got to jump on it now. So clear your calendars, especially for the 5th, but 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's going to be amazing, amazing, amazing content. Again, we're going to take a quick break, and we will come back and speak with these, or hear some amazing, incredible, incredible music. Any last words we want to add to this, guys?
No, thank you very much. This is very much appreciated.
Of course. Thank you all very much for tuning in. We appreciate it. And we will be right back with a little something, right after a little something from Matt Grigsby.
We were walking through the fast food drive-thru. I was drunk on whiskey. You were drunk on our youth. You had yourself a night of passion. Now there's life inside. Drag me around on your rope of lies with your long black hair, your deep brown eyes. I put you to the world outside. Now the walls, they seem so bare. I'm wiping off a dust to say where I've been, and maybe then to see how I've changed. Best part of falling's getting up again, feeling better than your better days. Feeling so you'll never fall again. Never fall again. Never fall again. We were living in a one-room cell. That school was hell, man. That school was hell. We were dreaming of a North Texas town where the music never ends. We went outside to expand our mind. That field came alive with petals and lights. Turned around and came back down, and then all fell apart. I'm wiping off the dust to say where I've been, and maybe then to say how I've changed. Best part of falling's getting up again, feeling better than your better days. Feeling so you'll never fall again. Never fall again. Never fall again. Well, I smoked my mind, and drank my time. Well, I tried to hide. Well, now that's all done. East Texas towns, they're so peaceful, it's country living, Baptist steeples, proud people shocked to find a shot fired in the night. Was my birthday when I did finally blow your mind, kid, blow your mind. So now you lost your history, I light a candle for your memory. I'm wiping off the dust to see where I've been, and maybe then you'll see how I've changed. Best part of falling's getting up again, feeling better than your better days, feeling as though you'll never fall again, never fall again, never fall again. I'm wiping off the dust to see where I've been, and maybe then you'll see how I've changed. Best part of falling's getting up again, feeling better than your better days, feeling as though you'll never fall again. I'll never fall again. I'll never fall again.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.